All right, everyone, we'll get started. Good morning and welcome to this morning's session. And first and foremost, for anyone of our resellers that are joining from Melbourne, congratulations. It's day one, we finally get our lives back. So I hope after this, everyone's got plans to go out to a cafe or a restaurant this week and catch up with some family and friends. But today's session, we'd like to welcome our newest vendor to the network, Alcatel-Lucent Enterprises, or ALE for short. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Craig Thompson. I'm the Channel Marketing Manager at Wavelink. And today I'm joined by Karl Sice, who's Country Business Manager for Australia and New Zealand at ALE. Karl has been with ALE for coming on 2 years, but prior to him joining their team, he's got years of experience in a reseller, or as ALE say, a business partner space. So today we'll be able to show you, our resellers, the real value of of why you should be becoming an ALE business partner through Wavelink. Of course, we love questions. So we ask that throughout the session, should you have any, there's a few ways you can do this. You can put them in the questions box that you've got on your toolbar. You can put them in the chat box to myself directly, or you can raise your hand and we'll unmute you. We'll also be recording today's session, and we'll give you a link to share after the event with your greater team, should you want, and it will also be available on our Wavelink website for you to view on demand. You'll also get a feedback form after the event. We'd love to hear your feedback on the events that we can make even more interesting moving forward. Finally, if anything does go wrong or you do need any help, you can contact myself directly through the chat box, like I said, if there are any issues. With that being said, I'll hand over to Karl now. Karl, welcome, and everyone enjoy the presentation, and we'll come back for a Q&A after Karl's presentation. Thanks so much, everyone. Karl, over to you.
Thank you very much, Craig. Good morning, everyone. And I'd like to join Craig in wishing all our friends in Melbourne all the very best on day zero for your ascension out of this challenging period over the last few months. I'm excited as anything for you all. But thank you very, very much, folks. I know there's plenty of opportunities to join meetings such as this, and we appreciate very much the opportunity to spend some time with you. My name's Karl Sice. I'm the Country Business Leader for Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise. As Craig said, I've been involved in this role for a little bit under 2 years, but I've actually worked across the industry in both software services and business partner or reseller organisations. The thing I'd want you to know coming into this conversation is this isn't going to be one of those presentations where you hear 15 minutes of product roadmap or any detail around any one of our products, because I'm a big believer that in the year 2020, we're in a world where customers and people who are looking for solutions are looking for help by the business processes they change, by the costs they improved, or by the service levels that are improved as a result of the work we do. Technology happens to play a role in that transformation. So today's information that I'll be sharing is unashamedly non-technical. However, I have some amazing people in the team, and we're building together with Wavelinks an amazing community who will be able to well step up to those challenges when the right time is to take the conversation forward. ALE, as a partner, we could not be prouder of the relationship we've developed with Wavelink. In choosing Wavelink as one of our main distributors, we recognised the specialty and the capability that comes with Wavelink. And I'm sure many of you listening to this will appreciate the passion with which the team serves and the quality with which they go to market. We're very proud to be part of this journey. Today, what I wanted to do was share some insights into our organisation and ultimately, hopefully, how you can profit from this relationship along with us. So firstly, many of you may already know Alcatel-Lucent as a company who's been around for many years, and you'd be right to see that. Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise has been around for about 100 years. So the actual company is an old company. And many people who I speak to at barbecues and on the weekend and in my friends' community say to me, isn't that the phone company, or isn't they know Lucent? They might go, is that the networking company? They won't quite put one and one together and make the connection. But the company in 2020 is one that covers the digital worlds of communications and collaboration, networking, and then of course the services that wrap around it all. Our world, like many worlds in IT, is going through dramatic change. My role was created to help shape the way in which we go to market going forward. And when it comes to the communications market and the networking market, both those markets are going through significant transformation, and we're excited to be part of that journey, and we're excited to be now dealing with some of the opportunities that are coming from that massive change in the marketplace. When you think about what ALE stands for, we provide digital age communications, and the old ALE that you used to know was a PABX and a phone company. I'll be very, very frank with you in the interest of time today. We sell a lot less PBXs nowadays, and we sell a lot more solutions that are involving unified communications or CPaaS outcomes. And it's very exciting to see that many traditional industries that might have in the past only used phones or only used the old systems are actually finding a blended outcome that mixes a variety of different components. Across the bottom, you can see the different areas that we're involved in, but particularly as I look at this, the area, particularly given the events of this year, the area of collaboration and e-services has never been more in demand. We're involved in more conversations when it comes to working flexibly and providing different workflow outcomes than we've ever been before. Equally, when it comes to security, it was quite serendipitous a few weeks ago that I was involved in a presentation with the peak industry body in Australia around security and government. And again, ALE plays a huge role in the area of communication to make sure that not only our technology complies from a certification and a criteria perspective, but that we have the genuine disciplines and processes to support the right levels of data protection and privacy. Because our organisation we've actually grown our organisation organically, there's an innate knowledge within our business around the solutions we build in communications and collaboration. And one of the reasons we continue to be relevant in 2020 versus in previous years is because we've got that organic knowledge. Some of our competitors have grown their business through just taking over other organisations. And I'm sure you guys can appreciate that that doesn't necessarily give you the in-house knowledge and understanding that comes with starting and ending as a communications collaboration organisation. And we're proud to be one of those. Our heritage is French. However, we're also what I call a Franco-American company. Those, again, who know Alcatel will know headquarters is in Paris, and Lucent headquarters is in Los Angeles, or a place called Calabasas. And what's happened now is the company is capable of bringing best-of-breed solutions from around the world, from both geographies. So it's really exciting. When you partner with us, you'll quickly realise that we can draw from best practice all over the world. And there's some fantastic, and as I've taken this journey at ALE, one of the things I've enjoyed most is hearing some of the amazing stories in other parts of the world of how they've deployed our technology in a way that's been what I call productively disruptive, but has made a change for the better, that it's delivered a service outcome and improved an environment. From a networking perspective, again, some of these workloads, some of these areas may be areas already familiar to you, but we do provide autonomous networks to support digital transformation. So we obviously operate in the area of digitalization. When it comes to networking, we have a number of technical advantages, but I promised you no technical conversation today. But from a commercial perspective, the thing I would say to you, if I was a Cisco partner or if I was a partner of some of the other vendors in the marketplace, why would I consider ALE? Firstly, we're renowned for our reliability and our robustness of our solution, but even more so as a business partner, the profitability our business partners enjoy is unprecedented. We deal with a wide variety of different business partners at different places within the ecosystem, both very, very large and in some cases multinational, all the way down. And what's great about the story that I hear commonly is they love the fact that ALE still is a solution that firstly is channel only. We don't play the let's go direct, let's go indirect game. We have no capability to sell direct. So we sell everything indirect through you guys and through the channel partners. And that means that the channel has the best possible opportunity to realise the opportunity we're talking about. Our focus is to focus on vertical solutions. So we're not a mass merchandiser. We don't provide a broad scale solution that covers every element of the market. However, when you talk to us about any number of these verticals, whether it be government, whether it be healthcare, education, or hospitality, we have very strong basis for conversation in each of these areas. Let me start with hospitality, probably the most disrupted parts of the marketplace in 2020 of any. But when I reflect on the journey my team are taking and supporting some of our customers in those areas, we're dealing with some of the most progressive and certainly most challenged hotels and lodging establishments they're actually being forced in some ways to reimagine the basis of their doing business. So in the olden days, the hospitality business for a company like ALE used to be, let's go sell them a PBX and fill out their rooms with phones. No one uses those anymore. I've got my own cell phone right here, and I know many of you the same. But when you go to a hotel today that's been equipped with ALE technology, and many have, a solution that not only provides internal communication and collaboration capability, but it provides security for the staff that are serving that facility, so the maids and the staff that actually service the room, plus also the ability to upsell on food and beverage is materially larger. So we've had numbers quoted to us from some of the recent hotels we've done of more than 20% improvement in sales of the solutions that hotels sell you when you go and stay with them. Or it might just be a service level improvement where you're looking for a more cozy pillow, or you're looking for something else. The actual ability to do that more effectively is there. When it comes to healthcare, ALE has an amazing story. And one of the reasons we're so excited about Wavelink is because we know that many of the partners within Wavelink are already working in this vertical as well alongside us. But folks, we have relationships today with some of the largest public and private health providers in all of Australia. Where I'm located in Sydney, we deal directly with the largest health district in New South Wales, that is called Sydney Local Health District. We also deal with, up in Queensland, we deal with a bunch of the metropolitan and regional Queensland health sites as well. And if you're wondering, okay, what does ALE do? Is it just the old-fashioned PABX? Absolutely not. We're supporting the basis of their critical care outcomes. But what we're also doing is helping them to imagine the future when you're improving the clinical outcomes for the patients, as well as also and for the doctors and nurses. But also when it comes to the systems that run the hospitals, they're improving significantly the capability of healthcare as a result of improving what we do and what we do together. What's great about healthcare is that market is transforming at a rate that I've not seen in my career. We've done more work this year than we've done in the history of the company. And to give you some idea of the scale of this business, folks, ALE is the second largest healthcare vertical for ALE globally of any, behind France. So it's a huge and very buoyant market. We also do a bunch of work in the aged care area as well. And once again, when I think about the tribunal and some of the pressure associated with aged care, and I personally have elderly parents, so I know firsthand how important it is to provide them with a great experience. We provide solutions that actually support, enable, and allow better outcomes for that environment. And then finally, in the government area, there's lots of great stories in the government area, but when I think about the critical engagements, we work with both federal and state government. So we are certified as what's called an ASD, or the Advanced Signals Directorate certification for our equipment. We also are on the Digital Transformation Agency panels in Canberra. Plus, we're on a bunch of state government panels across Australia as well, and are actually growing that business significantly as well. We've seen significant growth year over year, and we're expecting that market to still be quite robust for us going forward as well. The great thing about ALE, there's plenty of great examples of workloads, and we'd love to get closer to you. What I've got is I've got a team of less than 25 people in Australia. As a vendor, we don't need hundreds of people. We need you guys as our channel. We need you guys to give us a chance to have a conversation. What I give you in return is my full passion and commitment and my team's resources to assist you to imagine these workloads into the key verticals and ultimately deliver an outcome that can improve and ultimately give our customers mutually a better outcome. The last thing I wanted to say today was just about the tailoring process. So although we have a bunch of services in our organization, every one of our services is a sell-through channel service. So once again, please don't be intimidated. I know that sometimes when you see a vendor such as us put up services, you kind of think, oh gosh, here we go. They're going to go in there and do their own thing. In fact, to the contrary, we have a fantastic team here that provide both pre and post-sales services. We also have a dedicated training team here at ALE who can provide vendor support and vendor knowledge. And we also have other resources available. But at the end of the day, when we ultimately sell those services through to our customers, it is a sell-through, not a sell-to, if I can put it that way. So you benefit from any engagements we make directly with the customer, and hopefully again you can make money as we do a great job to improve our customers' transformation and how they improve their environment. The last thing I wanted to say today, and I wanted to leave plenty of time for conversation and questions, probably the couple of things I would say are the big differentiators for ALE, and the one that I should have put in here at the start is really the installed base. Because ALE has been in the market for such a long time, we have a large and frankly a very successful base of installed base customers. One of the proudest data points, I presented to our CEO last Wednesday night in France, and I said to him, one of the proudest data points I have for the Australian business is our renewal rate is actually amongst the highest in the region and across the world. In some cases, it goes up as high as 95%, but averages in the high 80th percentile. So very, very high renewals. And so we have customers who often are very satisfied and are getting great outcomes, but want to do more. So the opportunity for us as partners is to work out what that looks like. And I commit to you, and I'm available, just like Craig said previously, he'd be available for any follow-up privately. Me too. I return every call, I return every LinkedIn note, I return every email. There's no hide and seek with ALE. We're here to provide a service to you as our partners. You are our partners. We want to make sure that you're more successful as a result of the engagement you have with us. And as I said before, the opportunity really starts and ends with a much greater margin outcome. We do have a local sales team. So when we do three-legged calls together, I have a bunch of what I call direct touch key account managers within the team. Don't be scared by that term. These guys and girls are not selling directly to customers. They're selling through partners to customers. So once again, your opportunity is to take them out, put them in front of your customers, and we can together do some exciting work in the marketplace, and again, realize the outcomes that can come from that work. And then, as I said earlier in the presentation, we only sell through the channel. We are unique. We are differentiated. I'm not going to start calling out bad things about our competitors, but in some cases, some of our larger competitors, you're talking a very, very low margin outcome for a lot of work, and it's certainly a heck of a lot of competition. What we're doing is we're saying we can't do everything, but the areas we can do, we do really well, and you do really well out of that, if I can say it that way. I've already made the point about high availability and reliability. It's a very robust solution. One of the reasons we continue to win in mission critical workloads such as healthcare and public sector, and these aren't the workloads that organizations can experiment or take chances on. When we're talking about public health, particularly this year, it's come to the fore how important it is for a company like ALE to do a good job, and we're very proud. That's why I've been able to mention names of customers, because we're making a great impact and really doing well. And then finally, we have a bunch of investments and resources available. We don't throw money out as marketing and hope it works. We're very much around generating demand, and we're very open to some clever ideas. One of the great things about working with Wavelink so far is the innovation of the team. Craig and Alan and the team are extremely innovative and extremely willing to step out with us, and we are absolutely willing to go hand in hand and work together with you guys to look for more opportunities. So I'd love to have further conversations along that line as well. Craig, that's it for my slides today. I'd like to leave as much time as I can for questions and comments. Can I pass back to you now, please?
Yeah, for sure. So before we do that, I'd just like to introduce another member of your team. I think he's sitting there with you, Dom Hardiman. So Dom is part of the ALE team. I think he's been with ALE now for just over a year. So for any of our resellers that want to continue the conversations about becoming an ALE business partner / reseller, Dom will be very heavily in that process, working with our channel managers. So I thought it'd be a good introduction to Dom as well. So Dom, if you're there, quickly say hi, and maybe just give a quick introduction for yourself as well.
Definitely. Thanks, Karl. Thanks for a really sort of passionate presentation, and that passion's infectious as well. With ALE, very proud to be part of this company, and also proud of the new partnership with Wavelink as well. I'm really looking forward to supporting you and also Wavelink in any sort of channel-related activities. I want to touch on a few points. One, again, I know Karl mentioned quite a few times, but I just want to reiterate. We are 100% channel central and 100% focused, and we only work with our partners and rely on our partners, and we recognise the importance within all the sales cycle and other activities related to that. The second point is our hands-on approach. So Karl, I think, mentioned that as well, but I just wanted to reiterate, we're quite an agile team, and I'm really, really keen to support you in any initiative possible with Wavelink support. And I know Wavelink have done an extremely good job with you to date, and I hope to augment that experience moving forward. And the third point is, from my standpoint, I am fairly new to a role within the vendors chair, and I've actually got more experience as a reseller, and that's how I like to think. So I really want to bring that approach to conversations and initiatives moving forward, and I hope to also be a value to those conversations. So that's probably all from me, and I won't take any more of your time.
Well, thank you very much for that, Dom. We've got one or two questions, but before we jump into it, I just wanted to kind of reiterate what Karl and Dom have both said, that this is a very exciting partnership for Wavelink and ALE, and we've worked really, really hard to get it to a point where we can start having active conversations with our resellers. So anyone on this call that is wanting to know more, obviously pipeline generation and making sure that you're going into 2021 with as much pipeline as possible, as much strategy around how to grow your business, considering just how crazy this year has been, looking at a new vendor, looking at products that maybe align with that. There are a lot of synergies with ALE around healthcare, around aged care that work with most of our resellers because they're already in that space. But if you're wanting to branch out into new industries as well, ALE can definitely help you with that. So I just wanted to make that known as well, that going into 2021, when you're looking at business plans and sales plans, definitely look at how new vendors can fit into that market and help you grow your business. So I guess Karl and Dom, I think one of the big questions that's come out is for our resellers, again, speaking to what I was just talking about obviously with the strategy that we've aligned with Wavelink and with ALE, how do you see a focus for a reseller wanting to start on their ALE journey? Like what industry should they consider? Where do you have resources that could help them achieve their goal?
Yeah, so I'd love to take that question, Craig. Thank you for the question. I think if I was and to give some credibility to the answer to the people who don't know me, I spent 6.5 years running a company called Staples, which used to be called Corporate Express. A lot of people know it as Corporate Express. And I ran the technology solutions business for that for a bunch of time. And I also spent 5.5 years at what was then Volante. Many of you may know Volante from years back as well, and I've done a bunch of roles there. But when it comes to if I was to set up house today with ALE, the way I'd be thinking about the future, when it comes to communications and collaboration, the modern conversation typically starts with how do we achieve an improved service outcome with the collaboration tools we have. We're not about going in and ripping up and replacing. We know a lot of people in the market, a lot of customers in the market are using E5 or its equivalent within the Microsoft portfolio. So they might be already using something like Teams, or in some cases they might be using other tools to allow them to collaborate. Our solution is not about rip up and replace that. Our solution is to augment that into other capabilities. So when it comes to critical industries like healthcare and public sector, they need all of the capability to allow them to provide the level of service that's appropriate. So if I was a new partner looking in going, where can I possibly engage? In the communications and collaboration area, I think I'd be thinking the unified communications area is still a high growth area. I know I saw some market data this week on this market, and it's still positive growth both in Australia and globally. So in a market full of red ink, the UC market is still growing quite strongly, and ALE not only comes from the heritage of the physical world into what we have today, but we've just done a strategic partnership globally with RingCentral, which will only, going into next year, strengthen our capability and be able to provide some really clever solutions and differentiated solutions in that regard. When it comes to networking and potentially what markets that could fit, my immediate thoughts are around the medium commercial business, So enterprise is absolutely an area we play in, but it can be highly competitive and highly, it's sometimes hard to stand out. But when it comes to the medium market area, those customers are looking for high availability, high reliability solutions, but they're looking for simple, single pane type management system. We provide that capability, and we are known for being a very reliable, very capable company who can provide switching, routing and access with the modern technologies that are available in that regard. So when it comes to the kind of vertical to focus on, I think it comes down to individual choice. Craig, you were right to say to the team earlier that if anyone would like to know more about the vertical markets, what's great about the team that I lead here is that, and I spent some time with my healthcare guy this morning, they might know technology, but they're actually market experts. So if you wanted to know about hospitality, I can't think of anyone better than John Santos, who worked in the hospitality market before coming to ALE. Same with Alan Gospel, who's one of my healthcare team. He's come from the healthcare market in the area of clinical management and publishing systems. So he understands that business from a clinical outcome. So if you wanted to have an exploratory conversation in any one of the 5 areas that I spoke about, we have people available who can potentially have that conversation and take it forward.
And that's really good to know, because I think obviously when you are looking at new verticals, that's the first hurdle is I don't know the industry, I don't know the pain points, I don't know how to talk to them, I don't know what they're going through. So to be able to have those resources that they can pull on, that resellers can pull on and ask those questions and have the conversations, I think is definitely powerful. You spoke a lot, obviously, around the market going into the next 12 or 18 months. I think in the presentation you spoke around e-coms and unified communications, obviously being a real focus of the last of 2020, with everyone working remotely and working from home and teams needing to collaborate. You mentioned healthcare being front and center, obviously, with the hit that it's taken. What else do you see, and does your team see happening in the next 12 or 18 months? Do you see those industries still remaining first and foremost? Do you see them taking a back seat and something else coming forward?
Great question. And again, great timing for that question. I said before that I did a presentation to our global CEO on Wednesday night. So I actually put up both market data, total available data, as well as also our local projections. I'll say very transparently, Craig, there isn't any part of my plan for the next 3 years that doesn't have growth in it. But that growth's not crazy growth where we're just shooting a dart out there and hoping the big market catches. We're saying to the business that we want to double down. We believe there's more runway within the healthcare area, particularly as it relates to private healthcare. We believe there's a lot of questions going on in that industry right now about how to serve, how to differentiate. Those markets are very competitive. You find a lot of the big brands competing against each other. HealthScope, Ramsey, people like that are knocking heads right now and competing for the same clients or the same patients and the same doctors, same medical team. And then when it comes to the other markets, so public sector's always been, federal and state government's been fairly solid. And even though there's some changes about where that expenditure is going to be made, at the end of the day, there seems to be still plenty of opportunity. And particularly in Tier 2 and Tier 3 government, we do really well. Of course, if you think about a place like Canberra, there's many vendors who gravitate towards what they call the big four in Canberra. Everyone talks about tax, everyone talks about defence, everyone talks about human services. Look, we play there, but our best feet forward is in that second tier down, because frankly, it's less crowded and there's a really unique opportunity. I mean, I'm going to Canberra back in a couple of weeks' time, and we've got some amazing reference sites down there. Parliament House is an ALE site. Government House is an ALE site. Department of Foreign Affairs is an ALE customer. There's some amazing conversations that are going on in those environments that don't have the noise that happens in the big end of town. And plus, if I'm allowed to speak crude, Craig, there's still profit to be made. When you start dealing just in the panel or just in the contract business, it's extremely lean. So I think, the areas that I think there's going to be more growth, those two definitely. Hospitality, to be very transparent, is a really challenging market this year. However, I'm under no illusions. As I speak to John and my team about that business, once the East Coast opens between the borders, and I don't want to turn this into a political conversation, but I know there's a lot of pressure on the leaders to think about the borders. Once those borders unlock and travel and trade starts between even your place, my place, and Brisbane, we're going to see economy created off the back of that. And a lot of the projects, I know I've got well over €500,000 of pipeline today, which we've put into the parks category, that is awaiting that reopening. Once that happens, I think the hospitality market will come back on, and there's a lot of change and disruption that's probably going to come there as well. So they're the areas that I think makes most sense. But medium market Australia is such a lucrative area for us all. I know many of Wavelink's partners do really well in that area, and we'd love to have a conversation with people about that opportunity as well. Back to you, Craig.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with hospitality, and I think we were talking about this prior to the event going live. Is it somewhere like Melbourne that we opened today, and restaurants are already booked out for 10 weeks. So I think that bounce back, especially in the hospitality industry, in somewhere like Melbourne that is so. You moved to Melbourne for the hospitality. That industry is really going to recover, hopefully quite quickly. Especially
best coffee in Australia, right?
Best
Craig?
coffee, best wine, best food. That's why I moved down here. This final question as well. You come from a business partner background. You come from a reseller background for those on the call. When you look at how ALE work, I think you spoke to a little bit about it in the presentation. Just the final words of why ALE? Why do you like working with ALE? And from a reseller perspective, why would a reseller like working with ALE?
Yeah, so thanks, Craig. I think firstly, I want to start with probably what sounds to people who don't know me as a very corny word, but I hope it resonates with some at least, and that word is authentic. The engagement that we make with our partners, and you've already, the team at Wavelink have already experienced this firsthand, but we have a very authentic approach to our business and to how we engage our customers together. I love the fact that this organisation doesn't play in the middle between channels and direct. Honestly, I've seen other vendors try and really slip on themselves as they've gone out to market and pretended that they're going to mostly focus on the channel when in fact their real agenda might be something more. I also love the fact that even when I speak to the biggest of ALE's partners, they're the big names that you guys all know. I speak to the directors of those businesses and I say, why do you even talk to us? You're already so big with Cisco. Why do you see a place? And they talk to me about the fact that when they've done the P&L on the relationship, they can see the outcome, the amount of work that's required to make an ALE solution work, and the profit they get. It's a no-brainer. They absolutely simply make more money with and through us. So the opportunity to commercialize is so much greater. And I think the third and final point is the actual fundamental solution that ALE offers, the products and the solutions that we build are very, very solid, very reliable. And that might be boring to say, but we're not a volume mass merchandise. We're very specialised, and we know we don't cover every part of the market, but the markets we do cover, if I'm allowed to use this word, I'd like to think we're building some fame in those places. And there's an opportunity for every one of the partners of Wavelink to take advantage, and further conversation may unpack some of those. Definitely, and I think you hit the nail on the head that, again, this is an exciting partnership. We're excited. I think ALE is a really good fit with Wavelink. The experience that I've had with you guys has been just amazing so far dealing with you. So as we wrap up, thank you for your time. Karl, thank you for taking a half an hour out of your very busy day to introduce yourselves to our resellers. Dom, thank you for your time as well. And finally, for any of the resellers on the call that want to have further discussions, there's a couple of options. So you can directly speak to your channel manager following this call. We'll be sending it, the marketing team will be sending up a follow-up email tomorrow with the recording. You can always reply to that and we can facilitate any introductions as well. So again, Karl and Dom, thank you very, very much for your time. For our resellers joining, especially those in Melbourne, get out there, enjoy the sun, go have a coffee at your local cafe. But yeah, thank you very, very much for joining everyone, and we'll hope to see you at an event very, very soon. Thanks, guys.